All right, welcome everyone. We're going to talk a little bit about patch pairings. And what's great about patch pairings is that there's a way of using patches to pair. And what I mean by that is it allows us to be able to easily take different patches and pair them together. But what I'm going to focus on tonight is the basics of patch pairing with X39. So why we start there is because the X39 is our foundation patch, and realistically, everyone should be on X39 if you are patching. There's very few people that I would say shouldn't be on it, but even still, that's just because they have preferences. When we talk about, who cannot use X39, it's just from a liability perspective. So when you hear the company talking about like people who are on have a transplant or who are on chemotherapy or maybe who are pregnant, it's the technical language there is not they shouldn't use it. It's that we can't tell them they should use it. Does that make sense? So it is not contraindicated at all. This does not interact at all with chemotherapy. It does not interact at all with drugs for keeping your body from rejecting like anti-rejection medications. What it is a liability issue. So if we start telling people who are actively undergoing chemo that they should use the patch to help their body heal, well, now you've crossed over into what's called practicing medicine without a license, if you are not a licensed doctor. So that is the only reason. And again, let's some of you might be disbelieving me right now. So let's logically think this through. If you were, say, taking any medication at all, anything, cholesterol medicine, your diabetic medicine, your thyroid medicine, any medicine at all. If this actually detoxed out those meds, we'd all be in big trouble. What I mean by that is if this patch rapidly detoxed medications, like some people have erroneously stated they do, then you wouldn't be able to be on these at all if you were on any medications, because we're talking about the most aggressive ones, right? The ones that are like chemo medicine. Like you can't say that if it detoxes medicine but doesn't detox like a simple, I don't know, diabetic medicine. Now, the issue is as your body heals, some of the drugs that you're taking may become too strong. That's the only issue. So because your body's healing, so it doesn't need to have a strong, so you just have to really monitor yourself. And also when your body starts to go to repair in an area and things start happening there, sometimes you can have kind of a pendulum swinging the other way. Like you could have some kind of like, oh, wait, now my blood pressure is high and it should be lower. Well, that's only because, again, your body is regulating. And when you come into a balance or homeostasis, when your body is trying to balance itself so that it can live, you get these issues where potentially you have some balance issues. So another one that I see happen often in my own practice, so this is something to understand when it comes to patching specifically with X39, is that as your body, because it is a really excellent detoxifier, it has really good antioxidant properties, and all that is because when you activate mitochondria, and then those mitochondria help to proliferate basically copper peptides or GHKCU, then that will help your body to proliferate healthy stem cells. Whenever you have that happening, guess what? Your body starts to kind of kill off the stuff that's bad. So what's interesting is sometimes your liver enzymes can be elevated after using this for about 4 months. Totally normal. All that is your body is releasing the gunk. It's letting go of the stuff that it doesn't need to hold on to, and it's all the bad stuff and toxins are kind of flushing out of your system. So your liver enzymes can be elevated, and you might be like, oh no, what's going on? don't worry, keep on it. I would go back and get checked at the 6 to about maybe 10 or 12 month mark. So realistically, every 4 months, 4 to 6 months, you want to get your blood work done. It's technically it's every 120 days. Not all of us have time to go in and do that every 4 months, but generally every 120 days, your blood has completely cleared out and cleaned out and done a whole reset. So you have brand new blood every 120 days. So that's the best time to test to see. So some of us do it every 6 months, some every 4 months. It just depends on where you're at. So that is my recommendation. So what I mean by that is don't freak out if your blood work looks weird after just using this for a few months. That's pretty common. So I hope that answers that question. So what I want to do is just help you kind of want to go through a few patches that I feel are really excellent pairings at the beginning, and then help you understand how you would transition into wearing more patches later on, as opposed to piling them all on at once. So some of us get into the situation where, you use the patch, you use X39 for the first time, and you're thinking, what in the world? This is like magic, and it works so well, and I'm so excited. And others of you are 30 days in and you're like, I don't feel a thing. What's wrong with me? Okay, so we want to help you all get the most out of your patches and understand why they might not be working and why they sometimes are overworking. Okay, some of you get real excited because like X39 works really well right at first. And so then you just think, well, I want the Eon patch and the carnosine, and I of course want Alavida, and I want SP6, and I want the glutathione patch, and I want like all the things. So you start kind of using them all. And you might even rotate through them. This is what I did at the beginning. So I was using a lot of them at the beginning, and I went into what's called a detox spiral. So it just meant that I was exhausted and I had a headache and I just felt weird. It's like any time you change anything in your world. So for instance, sometimes when I put clients on a new supplement regimen, we don't go overboard. If you do too many supplements all at once, guess what? Your body's going to get supplement sick. It's a real weird feeling. You get nauseous. It doesn't feel good. Nothing feels good. So you got to kind of build yourself up. It's the same thing with patches. So what you would do is start with the X39 and possibly another patch. So again, this goes back into the other side of the people where they don't feel anything. Okay, I want you to ask yourself, do I have a lot of inflammation? Typically speaking, does my body ache and do I have inflammation? Am I a highly stressed out individual that has a lot of anxiety or just a lot going on all the time, a lot thrown at you? Am I on a lot of medications? And what I mean by a lot are 3 or more. So if you're answered yes to any of those questions, so 1 would be if you are highly inflamed, you have a lot of inflammation. 2 would be if you have a lot of stress or anxiety. 3 would be if you're on more than 3 medications. Okay, so those 3 big contenders would mean that you need to start with X39 and the Eon patch. The Eon patch, it's spelled AEON, is really, really important for those of you who are extra inflamed or are dealing with a lot of stress. Okay, so why is that important? The Eon patch, we call it the happy patch, but that is going to help reduce your body's inflammation load and also help your body with an adaptogenic response. That means your body's ability to adapt to stress better. It actually helps your adrenal glands specifically regulate cortisol production better. So that patch is really important to start with alongside of X39 if you are that person. So if you're like, wait a minute, Jen, I already started and I've been like 2 months on and I didn't know about this. Well, just get on the Eon as well. So those would be your 2 main patches. Okay, let's say your main issue is hormones and you want to lose some weight. Okay, again, just to give you an idea of what this other patch pairing would do. So X39 is going to help with your hormones. It does help balance hormones. It helps with a lot of things, obviously. So that's your foundation patch. And then you could pair that with SP6. Now, SP6, while a lot of us understand it to be the, appetite suppressant patch or cravings, it really is where it shines is helping to regulate all of your endocrine system. So your endocrine system is all of your hormone production, is all of your body. You've got a bunch of different endocrine glands. And that is going to help regulate your hormones in a big way. So if you're dealing with hormonal issue, again, outside of just cortisol or stress, just normal hormonal issue changes, then SP6 is going to be a really great thing. And then the added benefit is that you're going to lessen your cravings. And what I mean by that is, if you snack all day long or you have heavy sugar cravings, that's going to be a really good patch pairing to start out with. Again, that would be the X39 with SP6. And again, you just start, and some of you are like, I want both. I need all those. Again, you can't. You really have to pick the major thing, start with those two things, and then you could add. So let's say really inflammation is more important than like my hormone issues. So I'm going to start with the X39 plus the Eon patch. And then in a month, after about 30 days of using those two, you could add on SP6, okay? And do that every time you're adding a new patch. Think about one every month. If you wanted to then add the glutathione patch after 2 months, you could do that. It's just a rotation of what you're going to add on. Okay, so let's continue on with another potential pairing that you would need. Some of you are in aggressively heavy chronic pain. So that would mean that you would want to pair X39, the repair patch, with something like, and again, you could do this depending on what you want, but the LifeWave specifically is for pain. Okay, so that's going to, again, help activate mitochondrial activity, which will reduce pain. That is what that function of LifeWave does. So it's important to watch the video so you know how to use the two patch system, and you would use those alongside of X39 together. So again, that would be starting there. Again, just start with that. I have had people do Eon X39 with LifeWave as a start, which would be okay. You would be okay doing that because it won't put you into a detox spiral, but that will help if you have really aggressive pain, because then you're addressing inflammation, specific pain, and repair. Okay, so moving forward, if your main issue is skin, like you want to help your skin, like you're sick of the crepey skin, you're sick of like the aging, and you want just to help your skin look better. And some of you have different specific skin issues that you would want to help support. So you could start with Alavida with X39. So you could wear X39 during the day, and then you could use your Alavida or Alavida. I think David pronounces it Alavida, but Alavida. And you're going to put that on at night. It's best to wear that one at night during your body's natural epithelial production repair. That's all of your cells and skin cells. So I typically wear it right here on the side, and because I'm usually only asleep for 8 hours, I will wear that same patch over a 2-night period. So I'll peel half the patch sticker off, put it on my temple, my right temple, and I'll sleep with that for 8 hours, peel it off. It still has the second backing for night number 2, and then I put it on for night number 2, peel it off, throw it out the next day. So that's an excellent pairing. And because Alavida does actually help you sleep a little bit as well, you could just do those two. Technically, again, because the Alavida is not going to cause a detox spiral, that would be one that you could add as a third patch starting out. So there's a few that you would not want to start as a third patch starting out. Okay, so sort of already breaking my rule here, but I just wanted to kind of help you understand you're using that one at night. So during the day, you could use, say, Eon with X39. Okay, another excellent pairing that a lot of people do, and I would say most people start this way because this is a really excellent pairing, would be the X39 with the X49. Now remember, X49 is not a stem cell patch. It does not activate copper peptides in the GHKCU realm. It activates alanine, and alanine is a specific peptide that helps your body recover, helps your body build muscle mass safely. There's different things that helps with circulation. So some people who have a real specific need to help build good body muscle, like if they're trying to help their muscles kind of be better and stronger and just build better, you could pair those two. And that's something that a lot of people will start out with. Some people build up to that, but that definitely is a good pairing. And when I talk about pairings, I mean, these are pairings you would do long term. So you would just start and continue with them. And you can add other patches, and you can get up to about 3 or 4 patches per 12-hour cycle. So that could be upwards of 8 patches if you wanted to. Again, we've got 10 different patches, so there's never really any need to be using all of them. Technically 11 patches, but it just depends. So another pair patching that people patch pair that people would use would be X39 with carnosine. Carnosine is a little bit more aggressive, so you don't have to wear that one every single day. That could be like a pairing that you start out with if you wanted to really focus on brain health and cognition. Then you could wear that one every day for the first 30 days and then go to an every other day or every third day maintenance with that one. But again, that is something where, depending on how you sleep at night, you could try using that one at night or just use it in the day with your X39. So that's an excellent pair patching. If you chose to do X39 with carnosine for the first month, that would be one of the patch pairings that I would say that would be the only other patch you would add. If you add a third patch to that right in the beginning, you're probably going to experience a detox spiral. So that would be that one. The other one that you definitely will experience a detox spiral if you started out with alongside of X39 would be the glutathione patch. Glutathione is a very aggressive detox patch, which is excellent, and one of my all-time favorite patches, and I wear it weekly, but I don't wear it daily. Okay, some people do, but you really only need that, you know, maybe 3 times a week, something like that. And again, I just encourage you to give yourself a month before you start X30 or before you start the X39 with glutathione. So you know, depends on how you're feeling though. And if you feel like I don't care about detox spiral, what does that look like? It just means you're gonna fall asleep during the day because you're gonna be exhausted and you might have a headache, stuff like that. You might feel nauseous. So that's typical of a so when we talk about detox is never aggressive rashes or long-standing headaches. Okay, so migraines, you don't that is not detox. Okay, so some people misdiagnose themselves based on something else. Okay, so detox spirals look like this. It just looks like you're really tired and you're having they're basically vital flushes. So what is a vital flush? As your body is going through that regenerative process, and as your body is taking care of the antioxidants or kind of killing the free radicals, you get these vital flushes. And what that looks like is you might, and I need you to hear me when I say this, you might get a short-lived rash. That's a vital flush. That means the rash comes and it's gone within about an hour. If you have something where you've had a rash for like weeks, that is not from the patches. Okay, the patches do not cause long-term rashes. That is a stress response. Usually you have too much cortisol, you're going through a stressful period, and your body has triggered a rash, not related to the patches. Vital flushes come and go quickly. So a headache would last a couple hours at max, and then it's gone. You could even experience chills or like a feverish sensation, not actual fever, but that comes for about an hour and then goes away. Those are vital flushes. That is a common detox symptom. It has nothing to do with long-term things. So just know that would be what like a detox spiral would look like. And typically detox spirals are, you're just really tired for like weeks, if not like a month or two. And again, it has to do with what's going on in your body. So it's why we want to start slower as opposed to more aggressively. Just depends on who you are. So there's some other patches that you can look into. I don't typically tell people to start with the Silent Nights patch alongside of X39 at the beginning. And the reason for that is the X39 starts to regulate your sleep patterns a little bit better. So the Silent Nights patch has a very specific usage pattern. You've got to put it on about 30 minutes before you go to bed, and you got to put it on the right spot. And I don't know where your right spot is. Everybody has a kind of a magic spot, whether it's on your foot or your hand or your temple or your forehead or the back of your neck or your belly button even. actually take multiple days to figure that out. So I feel like the Silent Nights patch is more of an advanced user patch, because the other element that's super crucial when using Silent Nights is you have to turn out all the lights. Okay. The only way this works, you could use Silent Nights during the day and it wouldn't make you fall asleep. It would actually just help increase your serotonin levels. That's what it does. So you'd be a little more calm during the day. You'd feel better. Whereas if you take the Silent Nights and use it at night with the lights on, it's not going to help you fall asleep. It's just increasing serotonin. So that's what it does. So the only way that serotonin induces natural melatonin production is when there's no lights. It has to be like, you can't be on your phone, you can't be watching TV, you can't have the lights on. So 30 minutes before bed, turn the lights on, meditate, pray, do whatever you need to do, but that's the only way that that one works. So it needs a little bit more attention to detail on the education of it, but also that's why I say advanced users, because you need to understand that there's different placements and you got to find which placement is the right one for you. So I hope that makes sense, because it can get a little bit tricky with people trying to kind of figure out the Silent Nights one, and some people say it doesn't work, and I'm like, well, you have to know how to use it. So because again, it increases serotonin specifically, and it will do nothing for you unless you have low light situation. Okay, so I think we covered, oh, one more. Energy Enhancer patch is also a patch that takes a more advanced user approach. That's the second patch that has a 2-patch system. So you're only getting 15 days worth, just like the LifeWave patch. We're not going to talk about the horse patch, the AccuLife patch, because we're just covering the patches for us. But just know that the, because that's also a 2-patch system, but the Energy Enhancer patch is something that you actually need to consistently use for 2 weeks before you start seeing good results with this, like increased motivation, increased clarity, increased energy. It's not like I put it on and I feel like so much energy. That's not how it works. So that's something that I also would consider more of the advanced patch user. And just once somebody feels comfortable using patches, then they can kind of get into using the energy. It's a great patch system though, and it's just something that I find is not the best to like introduce somebody into. So okay, so let me see if you have any questions. Okay, so there are little round balls that they send with actually most patches when you are in a different country. So if you are getting your patches in APAC or Canada, you're going to get these little like kind of creamy white colored, I think they're made out of, I don't know what they're made out of. They're just plastic. And the reason for that is those balls are how your market approved these patches. Because the whole patch system is based off of acupressure. And acupressure, in traditional acupressure, states that the pressure needs to be painful. The pressure needs to be deep enough that it hurts. So putting a sticker on is like, that's not, so in some of the countries like Canada, they don't believe in phototherapy. There's over 500 published studies, 400 of them out of Harvard Medical, that state the veracity and efficacy of phototherapy, but other countries just don't believe in it. They think that it's bogus. So the phototherapy is actually what is making these work. This is how this works. This is the nanocrystal technology. They had to, the only workaround, the ability for them to get these improved into different markets who only understand acupressure, was to put little balls in there. So you're supposed to take the little ball, put it on the acupressure point, stick the patch over it, and stick it on so that the ball is like under the, don't do that. Throw the balls away. You don't need them. Okay, it was just really I could probably get in trouble for sharing this too, but I'm assuming Health Canada is not watching my videos. I don't think it really matters. I think that it's one of those things that you just don't need the balls. The balls were there to help like pass it through, that it's acupressure, but you're just going to stick the patch on without the ball. And they only give you, I think, 8, and that's because you're supposed to reuse them. And I think they give you that many in case you lose them, whatever. So Alavita, the patch, helps to strengthen the skin. Exactly. So that would be something that you could use that for. So that was a question. Does Alavita help strengthen the skin? Very good question. Okay, let me see if I've got any questions on our Facebook group. So this is being recorded into the Patch EDU group on Facebook, and anyone is welcome to join that that group. It's on, like I said, Facebook. It's called Patch EDU, and facebook.com/group/patch edu. It goes along with our site, which is patchedu.com, and that is a great place for you to learn and get more information. Okay, so, and yeah, Kendra says, I can testify to over patching too quickly, and she was excited, right? She got on the patches. She was like, yay, let's do more patches. Then she got sick. She said, I got sicker than I've ever been. You get on this crazy detox spiral and it doesn't feel great. So, and then we have our team group, and I'm going to just double check if there's any questions in there, because then we have our team meeting after this, which won't be recorded into this group. So, let's see. I think. Okay, so someone asked about last week's presentation. We had a really good presentation last week. I haven't had time to post it on YouTube. I sometimes do, and I'll do them in kind of batches. So I will try to get that on this week so you guys have access to it. I have a new presentation coming that will be an all patch presentation that will kind of go over everything we do. It's not like brand new. I just kind of add things in and clarify things. I'm always kind of making those work better. And those all will be on patchedu.com for you guys to download if you wanted to. But hopefully this is helpful. And again, this group is just an open education for anybody to join. And I love that you guys are here and enjoying. So we have 1 more minute left. I see someone says almost 90 days into patching and would like to try the tummy challenge protocol. I've seen using X39, Eon, SB6, and glutathione. So there's a protocol sheet in Patch EDU. That's not my protocol. Somebody else came up with that, but I felt like the protocol sheet, the understanding the directions were really hard to read and understand. So I created a new graphic. So you can check in this group or the photos in my team groups. I have them in there. I believe it's technically a non-compliant protocol, but we're just saying it's not a belly reset or a tummy reset at all. So the problem with that is some people experience actual weight loss. They experience a reduction in their circumference of their tummy, but it's only because it's helping get the excess fecal matter out of your intestines. So, you know, some people experience great results with it. Some people are like, oh, I don't really know what it did. So you really do need to follow that technically for 18 rounds. I moved it to a 15 round one because I felt like, for me personally, I get a little annoyed when a protocol goes beyond what I could use a patch set for. So if I have a patch set and it's an 18-day protocol, I get real annoyed because then it's like I can't just use one set twice. I have to buy now a second set. So I've, you know, and I did get results personally after even just 12 days. So 15 days is fine. If you want to do longer, that's great. But I'm a big anti-OGV bumper. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I'm against that. So I like to give you guys protocols that work, that you're not overusing patches that you don't need to. So that was my little change. Anyhow, I know I'm always the one getting in trouble with everybody else, but I feel like, you know, we want to do things well. We want to help our health well. We want to do things right. And you know, I think it would be foolish of somebody to say, well, you didn't do the full 18 days, so that's on you. You'll feel it after at least like 10 to 12 days. You should feel something. You should feel some movement, even within the first few days. But some people, you know, again, drinking enough water, all of that is really important. All right, so that's it. And I will see you all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone.